Setting the stage. Lancia Stratos HF Zero concept, a car that looked like it had landed from the future. Unveiled in 1970 at the Turin Motor Show, this incredibly low wedge shocked the audience with its bold lines and radical innovations. But behind its futuristic look was not just form, but also function. Its unique design didn't just impress, it set trends for supercars for decades to come. Today, we'll uncover the story of how Marcello Gandini and Bertone created this concept, what inspired them to take such a daring step, and how the Stratos HF Zero left an indelible mark on automotive history. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you love stories about iconic cars and want to find out how this concept influenced the entire automotive industry, the visionary minds behind the design. To understand the Lancia Stratos HF Zero concept, we need to start with the people who made it possible, Marcello Gandini and the Italian design house Bertone. In the late 1960s, Bertone was known for pushing the boundaries of automotive design, and Gandini was its rising star. At just 32 years old, Gandini had already designed the groundbreaking Lamborghini Miura and the futuristic Lamborghini Countach, both legends in their own right. But he wasn't done. For Gandini, the Stratos HF Zero was an opportunity to explore an idea that had been haunting him for years: the ultimate wedge-shaped car. A radical idea, the wedge shape. Gandini believed that the future of car design was in aerodynamics and minimalism. Inspired by space-age aesthetics and fighter jets, he sketched a car that was only 84 centimeters, 33 inches tall, lower than any production car in history. His goal was to create a vehicle that seemed to slice through the air, with a sharp front end and a flat roofline. Fun fact: Gandini's obsession with the wedge shape would later influence the designs of cars like the Lotus Esprit, the DeLorean DMC-12, and even the Lamborghini Countach. The role of Bertone, more than just a design studio. Bertone wasn't just a styling house, it was a place where radical ideas could come to life. Under the leadership of Nuccio Bertone, the studio had a reputation for taking risks that other manufacturers wouldn't. The idea behind the Stratos HF Zero was to prove to Lancia that Bertone could create a concept car so shocking that it would capture the world's attention. Fun fact: Bertone built the Stratos HF Zero in secret, without Lancia's approval, and planned to unveil it as a surprise at the 1970 Turin Motor Show. The gamble paid off. Lancia's executives were so impressed that they immediately began talks to develop a rally car based on the concept. The name Stratos was chosen to evoke a sense of being above and beyond, like the stratosphere. It was a perfect fit for a car that looked like it had landed from another planet. The radical exterior design. At first glance, the Lancia Stratos HF Zero looks like something straight out of science fiction. Its aggressive wedge shape and unbelievably low profile seemed to defy all the standards of the 1970s. But behind this extravagant design was not just shock value. There was carefully calculated aerodynamics. Key design elements: wedge shape. A sharp front end and completely flat roof allowed the car to slice through the air. Materials: the body was made of polished aluminum with a copper hue, making it not only lightweight, but also visually unique. Wheels, hidden in deep wells, preserving the car's streamlined shape. Headlights, integrated into the front and almost invisible. Technology that seemed decades ahead of its time. No doors? No problem. One of the most impressive features of the Lancia Stratos HF Zero was its unconventional entry method. The car had no doors. Instead, the driver entered through a tilting windshield. However, this entry method required a certain level of flexibility. The driver practically had to crawl inside. Fun fact: even today, cars with unconventional entry methods, like scissor doors on McLaren or gull wing doors on Mercedes, draw admiration. But the Stratos HF Zero did it first. The futuristic interior. If the exterior of the Lancia Stratos HF Zero looked like something out of a science fiction movie, then the interior was straight up space age. Opening the tilting windshield felt like stepping into a fighter jet cockpit. Everything was designed to make the driver feel like a pilot rather than just a driver. The dashboard was entirely digital, a shocking feature for a car unveiled in 1970. With green and red LED indicators, it seemed more suited to a spaceship than a road car. But every detail served a purpose, making the Stratos HF Zero a true vision of the future. High-tech features, a head ahead of their time. Digital dashboard. All key information, speed, RPM, and fuel, was displayed on glowing digital panels. In an era dominated by analog gauges, this was revolutionary. Advanced controls, buttons for lights, indicators, and other functions were placed directly on the steering wheel, an idea that would later become common in modern supercars. Fun fact: in 1970, digital dashboards were virtually non-existent in production cars. It would take almost 2 more decades for digital displays to become standard, even in high-end vehicles. A seating experience like no other. The seating position was nearly reclined, with the driver and passenger lying almost flat, more like astronauts in a space capsule than in a car. This wasn't just for show. The low and reclined seating helped reduce the car's center of gravity, improving aerodynamics and handling. The seats themselves were molded into the chassis, minimizing weight and enhancing the overall feeling of being part of the machine. A 360-degree view, sort of. The wraparound windshield provided a panoramic view of the road ahead, but rear visibility was almost non-existent, a reminder that this car was more about making a statement than practical driving. To compensate, the Stratos HF Zero featured slim side mirrors integrated into the body, a design element that would later become a standard in performance cars. But as revolutionary as the interior was, the true genius lay under the skin. In the next chapter, we'll pop the hood, figuratively speaking, and explore the engineering and performance that made this concept a fully functional machine. Engineering the future, performance and specs. Behind the futuristic design of the Lancia Stratos HF Zero was more than just a show car. Unlike many concepts of that era, this car was fully functional. Its heart was a 1.6-liter V4 engine from the Lancia Fulvia HF, producing 115 horsepower. At first glance, this might not seem like much, but for a car weighing just about 700 kilograms, it was more than enough. Engine specs and power. Type: 1.6-liter V4 with carburetor injection. Power: 115 horsepower at 6,000 RPM. Top speed: 190 kilometers per hour, 118 miles per hour. Impressive for a 1970 concept. Acceleration: 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in under 8 seconds. Transmission: 5-speed manual with rear-wheel drive. Fun fact: in 1970, most production cars couldn't even reach 70 horsepower. The Lancia Stratos HF Zero wasn't just fast for a concept, it was fast even by modern standards. Innovative engine placement. Mid-rear engine layout. The engine was placed in front of the rear axle, which improved balance and handling. This layout would later become standard for many supercars, including the Ferrari 458 Italia and McLaren 720S. This configuration allowed for an almost 50-50 weight distribution, minimizing both understeer and oversteer. In pop culture and beyond, the Stratos HF Zero's otherworldly design made it a natural fit for movies, video games, and comics. It inspired vehicles in science fiction films and even made an appearance in the 1979 movie Moonraker. Video games like Gran Turismo and Forza Horizon have included tribute designs based on the Stratos HF Zero's wedge profile. Its influence can also be seen in the cyberpunk aesthetic, with its low-slung body and glowing LEDs. Where is it now? But where is this space-age wedge now? Let's take a look at its current life and find out how it continues to captivate audiences. After its debut in 1970, the Lancia Stratos HF Zero was kept in Bertone's collection for many years, rarely appearing in public. In 2011, following Bertone's bankruptcy, the unique concept was put up for auction and purchased by a private collector. Today, the Stratos HF Zero is part of the Automotive Club Storico Italiano (ASI) collection and regularly appears at exhibitions and concours d'elegance around the world. Every time, the Stratos HF Zero becomes the center of attention, outshining even modern supercars and drawing crowds of fans and journalists. Value. Experts today estimate the Stratos HF Zero's value at over $3 million, making it not only iconic, but also one of the most valuable concept cars in history. Fun fact: the Stratos HF Zero can still reach speeds of up to 190 kilometers per hour, 118 miles per hour, proving that even half a century later, this concept remains fully functional. Conclusion and legacy. So, what made the Lancia Stratos HF Zero so timeless? Was it the boldness of its design, the brilliance of Marcello Gandini, or the fact that it was a true vision of the future? The answer is all of the above. What do you think? Was the Stratos HF Zero a stroke of genius or just a wild experiment that got lucky? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell if you want to see more stories about the most influential cars in history.